What's up, my great people? We welcome you to the Wealthiest Hour. Wealthy Hour, where the hour is always wealthy. I'm yours truly, Cordero Rowland, and then I also have my brother, Jason McGee. Y'all gonna hear from him soon. Right now, man, we got a special guest today. One of our masterminds, part of our Financial Five. I want to introduce my good brother, my great brother, Corey Artis. What's up, my brother?
What's going on, sir? How you doing?
Man, blessed by the best and praying for the rest.
man. Good to see you this morning.
Hey, great to see you as well. And thank you, man, for always, being behind the scenes and being in front of the scene. Very proud to have you on the platform and to pick your brain and just you're an amazing person, bro. Like, I've been watching you from afar anyways. And then I'll never forget when we did and shout out to your son, Flex, when we went to the home and you was in there. I think I was talking to you for a minute. You showed me him, and you and Jason was doing like the trading breakdown of it. But man, you always been cold when it came to like the finances, the biblical perspective. So yes, we're gonna talk about that a little bit today. And I just want you to introduce yourself and then kind of give a breakdown of what you pretty much be doing for the most part.
Cool. So so my name is Corey Artis. I'm known as a life insurance king to those on social media. So I'm a life insurance broker, but I'm not the typical life insurance broker. I'm not a product pusher.
Yeah,
I'm a problem solver. Everyone's situation is different, so I approach my clients differently each time I work with them, and more so from a kingdom perspective.
Right,
from a stewardship perspective.
So speaking on a kingdom perspective, like what is your overview of all of that layout? Because I know sometimes, like you said, people will sell a product.
Yes, sir.
You're trying to break the product down. But as far as a kingdom side of it, like what's your input on that?
Well, so today just want to, we talk about money, talk about responsibility, and about legacy. I know our guy Jason's going to be on a little bit, but last few days I've been hearing him talk about discipline and consistency and things of that nature. So I just want to start out by jumping in and talking about. I'm gonna come from a scripture, Proverbs 6:6-8, where it says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways to be wise without having any chief officer or ruler. She prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest." Now, I want you to pay attention because there are some lessons for us here with the ant. So lesson one is about discipline, which makes you dependable. The ant doesn't need a coach.
Right.
The ant doesn't need calendaring. The ant doesn't need applause. She just moves. And so today I want to talk about how we as men should just be moving and we need to be dependable. So, it's doing what needs to be done without being told.
That's good.
So discipline is a backbone of manhood, as you know.
Right.
So it separates the dreamers from builders, but it allows us to stand when others fall.
That's good.
So I want to jump to another proverb, 12:24. It says, "The hand of the diligent rule, but the lazy will be put to force to labor." Now I heard Jason over the last couple of days talking about consistency. See, God can't bless inconsistency. He blesses stewardship, managing well what he's already given you, but before God multiplies, he measures.
Hey, I just gave y'all the Financial Five Tabernacle, #church. That's good. That's real good.
So what are your thoughts so far?
I love what I'm hearing because a lot of times you don't have direction. Some people can be misguided. And I always talk about the misses. You can be misled, misguided, and ultimately have mistakes.
Yes, sir.
But what you just said, it shows principle, shows good stewardship. And then you want to have a good foundation too. When your foundation is built off of the kingdom, I mean, there's really nothing you can't get. And what you said, a person of being consistent, working. A lot of times, man, people miss that part. You gotta put the work in.
Right.
And it's easier when you move in a pack. That's why I love group economics. What we're doing with the Financial Five is second to none. Like everybody's working together. Like me and Jason, one thing I love about me and bro, we help each other. Right. Me and you, we help each other. Like it don't take a lot of people to get a lot of people. You start with the smallest three, and that three can get 300. 300 can get 3,000. Before you know it, you got a multitude of people because you're working together. Like it don't get no more simple. And you talking about scripture, it say write the vision, make it plain.
Yes, sir.
How you gonna be confused off of that?
Right. Yeah, it's that ecosystem, group economics. So lesson two I want you to learn about, because I love my brother Jason. I've been learning from him for many, many years. We got to move while the market is moving.
Man.
So look at this. The ant prepares her bread in the summer. She doesn't wait for the winter. She doesn't wait until she's hungry. She works while it's hot. And see, that's what Jesus meant when he said in John 9:4, we must work the works of him who sent me while it is day, night is coming when no one can work. So it kind of takes me back to, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And up to COVID, and I feel good. I'm gonna say I'm kind of guilty of this, but one of the biggest problems we have is procrastination. So I'm just saying, brothers, don't wait until the crisis starts planning, because when COVID happened, a bunch of people were left out there in the cold. Don't wait until you're broke to start budgeting. I know you're solid on helping people with their budgets and figuring things out with their credit. And don't wait till the storm hits to build the ark.
Yeah. I like that. And this is what I'm big on too, budget. I said, man, I remember I was teaching a class one time. I said, when I say the B word, I ain't cussing. Budget. I said, you ain't budget friendly, man. That's why people get jammed up. Like, I don't live outside of my means.
Right.
And I tell people this even in relationships, whether you're married or getting with a girlfriend or boyfriend, man, you got to have that budget talk.
That's correct.
You don't have that budget talk, man, you're jammed up. You can't go nowhere. You're trying to travel and have a good time and your life's about to get cut off. That's not a good time. It's ignorance. That's stupidity. That's you know what I mean? So when you budget properly and you build with what you're saying, like, man, people don't realize how powerful that is. And then I'm going to add a nugget too.
Okay.
When I used to get clients on insurance and I wasn't even trying to sell it because I was like, man, it's cheaper than your light bill.
Right.
You making AT&T rich. Why not take a portion of that AT&T money and get you a policy?
Come on.
A $100,000 policy only costs you $20 a month, but you over here now you passing away and they're trying to fry some fish to bury your stupid behind.
Right.
Because ignorance ain't a curse, that's a decision. You got poor decision making because you choose to be stupid.
That's correct.
So when I help our community now, I'm like, man, you held accountable around me. Like if I'm watching your money, and then this is what tripped me out now with social media, you can't hide that gram.
No, you can't.
You just talking about you didn't have it, and I'm seeing you over here flexing with a $80 polo on, a $200 shirt, and you got $1,000 worth of clothes on.
But you don't.
And you ain't got no policy, your credit score 420, yeah, you real stupid. And a double R, not Rolls Royce, you real retarded. Like, why won't you listen to the people around you? And how I got my wealth was listening to a brother like you, listening to a brother like Jason, and my brother Melvin. Man, when you become a student to this game, you got to apply the tools that's given to you, because it's like having a brand new toolbox and you've never opened it.
That's correct.
What sense does that make?
Man, we can go to all the seminars. We can go to all the seminars and listen to all the coaches. But if we don't use those tools that they're giving us, why even go? Why you keep wasting your money? I have a niece, and she's 31, 32 now. But when she was like 23, 24 years old, I mean, she was putting policies in place for her and her kids and all. And she had friends. She called up on the phone and said, "You need to come meet my uncle. You need to get a policy." And she would tell them, if you don't get a policy, you can't be in my circle. Yeah. She said, I need to make sure that people are rolling in my circle. We're in the same vein, that we're making sure we take care of responsibility. And I was like, at 23, 24 years old, she was talking like that.
Sharp mind. Yeah. Yeah.
So, financial streetism is not built on reacting, it's built by preparing. So be ready. So the goal is for us to save while others are spending. You just talked about you walking around with an $80 polo on, $1,000 chain or whatever, but you don't have no money in the bank when crisis comes. So invest while others are sleeping. That's why I learned from Jason. Learning how to trade. Many years ago, getting up at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning with him and putting trades in and things and learning from him. And learning from one of my other sisters from another mother. So you don't rise to the occasion; you rise to the level of preparation.
That's good.
So there's one more lesson from the end I want to talk about, and I want you to think generationally. I want you to think 5 generations deep. And then the ant gathers her food and harvests, and she's not eating for today, she's storing for tomorrow.
Love that. That's great. And then a question I'm gonna ask you too.
Yes, sir.
During COVID, what was one of the tools that you used then that you still use now, as far as budgeting, and how did you make it through that process?
Wow. I stopped spending a lot because I like to dress, but also I buy stuff on sale. But anyway, I was like spending money like crazy during COVID time, and COVID time was real scary. My insurance business went up by 300%. People were calling me that I had talked to years prior, just dropping their seed, like, because no one knew what was going on. So I started being a better steward of my money because I have family and kids. And people to take care of in my circle. So just learning more about my craft. You know, being in the life insurance game, I really started studying more and getting with mentors, people who have been in the game a lot longer than me, learning more about how to, you know, properly structure, you know, life products. It's not just about life insurance. It's other products that are included in those life insurance products. So just really learning more how to, about my craft and how to work with my clients better to help them be better stewards of their monies.
That was good.
Yep.
And what I love about that is that's why I asked that question, because a lot of times people don't know those resources are available to you, because people, and even me, when I thought about life insurance years ago, I was like, man, you selling that death certificate, what I used to call it, until I understood what the process was. And I remember, shout out to my brother Chad Chalmers. He the one broke it down where it made sense. He said, man, do you know you can set up a policy and build it up and you can borrow against it later, even with your kids? I said, what? He's like, man, nobody ever told you that. I was like, no, because that's a problem too. If somebody's just trying to sell you something, he didn't sell me anything. He told me how it worked. It's almost like showing me how a car run and you open up the hood and telling me it does this, this, and this, versus trying to sell me the actual car. And then if I want it, I already know how it worked. Let me see the key. Test drive it. So I got my setup through him, and that showed me the power of having it. I'm like, man, this not even that expensive. You know, and then of course, and I tell people this too, like, know what's in your budget, because if you don't know no better and you go to these I call them MLM builders in the insurance field, they'll try to oversell your product that you don't even really need. Just get one you need. And then I tell people too on this, do your homework on burial. I had to help a friend of mine out. This is why I love talking about this stuff. One of my buddies' grandmother passed away, right? She had a little crazy policy and it ended up lapsing and he didn't even know it. And he ended up having to get her cremated for like $600. But now, man, you got these people charging $10,000, $15,000. I ain't gonna say no names. They out here in Dallas and they finagling like a son of a gun. But this is why I tell people, you got to have these group talks with your family. And I'm like your friend was like, now, if your credit ain't right, you can't be in my circle. You ain't got no policy, you can't be in my circle. You ain't investing into the ecosystem. What you in our circle for? $20, $100. You can't put up nothing. You ain't no financial fire. You a financial lie. We not dealing with that, bro, because ignorance, again, is not a curse. It's a decision. You're deciding to go in these marketplaces and get these people your money, and you ain't gonna take a portion of that and invest in the people around you. You're a different kind of crazy.
Man, there's so many people out there. That's why I know when, you know, talking to Jason about this Financial Five. And and shout out to, you know, Coach K, his dad as well.
Shout out to Coach K.
We've always been about helping individuals. You have all these people that are out there that are, you know, doing these, you know, they jumping from this company to that company, doing this and that, and they never want to support you in what you're doing. And so that's why I'm glad we started this Financial Five, because there are 5 different financial opportunities within our ecosystem, and everyone that's involved within the Financial Five are going to be involved in each one of those pieces. Because we're going to I'm going to be pushing you up for, you know, you being the credit expert that you are. I'm going to be pushing Jason up for, you know, sending people to him so he can teach them how to, you know, teach them how to trade, teach them how to eat, you know, teach them how to fish for a lifetime and not just for today. So, you know, Scripture says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. And so that's what we're about here within the Financial Five, is we're thinking, you know, generationally, you know, and it's not just about money, it's also about mindset. And I love man, just every time I get on the phone with you, it's like I might be working, but we want to continue conversation. Man, you are a sharp brother. It's also about management and morality. And I know about you when it comes to morality. Bro, I mean, just as a young man, I mean, your mind is straight. Just some things that we've talked about. And so I look at this group of being in part of the Financial Five as real men. We're always thinking about generationally, and we're building a system that will live beyond us.
That's the most powerful tool in the
world. We all have children. You know, we all have other loved ones we want, but most of all, we're gonna make sure we take care of our children.
That's why I love the Financial Five, and I appreciate your words of encouragement with me too, because you're one of the other brothers that I look to. Like, I remember years ago, I called you, man, you said, I'm gonna send you a picture, and you had all these laptops set up. I was like, man, what is this, bro? You was like, man, I'm on the hustle. I got this going. But you was very precise. Like, that's why I love being around like minds, because we all learn from one another. I learned from you. I learned from Jason. I learned from Coach K. I learned from, you know, different people around us, bro. That's what make our ecosystem boom. And then with our children is exposing them to the stuff we didn't have. Sometimes, man, being in a room make all the difference. And I tell people, man, it don't kill you to support. My biggest blessing, man, I supported somebody, showed up in a room, had a conversation, and that room led me into another one, all because I went in there and sat down. This room we in right now, we're in this room because I sat in another room showing up for somebody else. And if you don't understand the power in that, God help you.
About being relationships, by being real, by being genuine, and not being fake.
Yeah.
So I know that we're all about building wealth, but we're not chasing the cash. We're about building ownership within this room right here.
Yeah.
And we're not just about, we don't want to just make an income. We're thinking about creating an impact.
Yes.
Not just for us, but for our families and families to come, even people in our communities. And so we don't want to just work for money. We want to make our money work for the mission. And so I got this to say, so your dollars should go out and come back with friends.
Say that one more time. Oh, that's
dollars should go out and come back with friends. That's what you spend, not the seed and dividends.
You preaching that, Doc.
Seed is the seed is meant to be planted and not consumed. And when you sow wisely, your harvest blesses not just you, but for generations to come.
Wow.
So I want to break this down, what it means, what biblical generation means. So generational wealth is a transfer of ownership, wisdom, and covenant from one generation to the next, so that your children's children live freedom, purpose, and obedience to Yahweh without starting from zero.
Shout out to Yahweh. Man, that was powerful. I ain't gonna lie. If y'all didn't hear that, please go back and recap this, because that was a bar right there. Also, I was gonna ask while we were talking, what got you into this field?
I can honestly, say one, making money, of course. Mm-hmm. A lot of people come in, they'll say this, that, and whatever, but making money was number one for me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and say, this is a very lucrative field, but I had a grandmother that my big mama, she passed away, and she had been paying on a life insurance policy for a long time, for years. It was $100 and some a month she'd been paying for years. And when she passed away, that policy was only worth $3,000.
What?
Someone had sold her, someone had sold her something so that they can become better off financially. And so a lot of times we find people, unscrupulous agents out there that will go to the Black and brown community, and they'll sell them what they want to sell them because they're going to make money. And you talked about your guy Chad Chalmers. Shout out to that brother. I talked to him a week ago or so as well. And he and I are on the same wavelength. Even though we're not in the same within the same company, but he and I we can get on a podcast and just talk, because I love what he was having to say too about kind of the similar situation. So many times people come in our communities, and there are agents that still go knock on doors today that will go out in our communities and just sell them what they want to sell them. And there are agents that'll sell you a particular policy and not properly structure their policy, because all they're thinking about is the money in their pocket and not really giving you what you need. So it's about educating. I want to be able to educate people in my communities about, one, the importance of having life insurance, and do away with all the myths and misconceptions. Right. Because there's so many times that, we have been, lied to,
oh my God,
misused, and not given, the right tools to be successful. You said something a while ago about, people think that life insurance is just about when you die. There's so many other things you can do with life insurance, the right life insurance, that can, pay for your grandchildren's college funds, or you can, use for this and that. So, yeah, I mean, that's, really I one of the reasons I got into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I love that you did, because you're educating people, showing them how stuff works, versus, man, that's a horror story hearing that happened to your grandmother. But people back then, they did that to us. They did that from finances all the way down to signing a contract. Because you signing this stuff, man, you don't know what you read. You just signing stuff, not knowing you just signing your life away. Right. The miseducated people was always us, and we got taken advantage of. Now what I do love, even with the new generation, they ain't trying to hear that. With ChatGPT and all these other AI tools, you have no business not knowing how this stuff works. You literally have a AI assistant that can break most of this down for you now. But it's still good to have people that can dialogue and, be manual with what we have, because that's still a golden nugget. Like, I'd rather come to you and get that piece from you, same as I did Chad, instead of just going to an AI bot. It still helps, but it don't break it down like you. You done the research, the homework. I call you and Chad the scientists because y'all break everything down and simplify it versus just trying to tell them, hey, you need this high value product or whatever, and then they paying $200 a month, and then God forbid something happens and you can't afford it, now it lapses.
Right. Yeah, that comes to different types of people out there. You have the knowledge people. You have the different types of, just different types of people. And AI they're going to give you a high level, but it's good to have that human touch where we can break it down. If we need to break it down all the way down to elementary.
Right.
And if I need to pull out a whiteboard, we show you that as well. So, part of that, getting into the life insurance arena, the financial services arena also has to do with, we kind of talk about this generationally about ownership and wisdom and freedom and purpose. So, with life insurance, our kids could be landowners, again, start businesses. We want to make sure that our kids are taking care of our grandkids and their kids and so on and so forth. So, so out of that, what we leave behind goes beyond dollars. And a purpose, to me, having a purpose is a legacy aligned with God's will and not culture's pressure. So I'm gonna go back to some more scriptures because I was.
Oh yeah, please do. I'm gonna let you.
So Deuteronomy 6:7 says, these commandments that I give you today are to be with you on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk around, when you walk along the road. Legacy isn't what you leave behind; it's who you raise up to carry what you stood for. So I'm gonna talk about sitting at home with our children. Nowadays we got all these tablets, cell phones, and all that. Back in the day we sit at a table, we having conversation.
Right.
Wasn't nobody on their phone. So I have 6 children, 4 adult children, 2 small children.
Wow.
And my son Jaden, he'll be 17 in June, and he watches everything I do. My 12-year-old, she's volleyball, whatever. She's not really thinking about it, but I still try to talk to her from time to time. But Jaden, he's already up on on financial products and things like that. He wants to be a financial service person. He wants to be something else too, but he wants to learn what his dad is doing and what his big brother Corey is doing.
Right.
So we must instill what we're doing in our children.
Yeah.
And we must implore that when they have children, we need to have these types of conversations. We don't need to let social media teach them anything.
Right.
So it's all about that legacy, what we're really doing for our children.
No, I agree.
And this financial services piece, this financial 5 piece is part of that.
It's second to none. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because when you got children, the worst thing you can do is not tell them.
Right.
It's so much stuff I came through the cracks of not knowing. Like that's what. And it's sad to say this, but it's true. A lot of us are just first generational. We figuring this stuff out on the wing.
Right.
So now that we do have children, I got daughters myself. So now I'm always exposing them to it, letting them understand how something works. And then this new generation, they're very intelligent if you give them the right tools.
Right.
And once they utilize them, like you say, you can't just let social media run their brain, because now what's happening is we all can see the attention span is about this short. And you got to try to get everything you can in that little window, because once it's over with, they not trying to hear nothing for real. So
right. Well,
I love the nuggets you've been giving out, because these wisdom keys will help those that apply it.
Right. I want to talk about a few things before we close. I know we're gonna get ready to get out of here in a moment, but let's be honest. I am a life insurance broker, but most importantly, I'm a kingdom man who understands covenant.
Yeah.
So this isn't just a business for me, it's a biblical stewardship, because too many of our brothers are leaving this earth unprepared.
Yep.
Too many widows are crying over caskets and bills at the same time. Too many GoFundMe pages are standing where trust funds should be.
That's good.
We're watching families struggle, not because God didn't bless them, but because we didn't prepare like the ant. Now I want you to listen to this. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for his own household, he has been denied the faith and is worse than the unbeliever.
Wow.
I'll repeat that. 1 Timothy 5:8 says, if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for his own household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever.
Sheesh.
So, brothers, my suggestion, brothers, that's not a suggestion, that's scripture.
It is.
Providing protection for your family is is a spiritual duty. Life insurance is not about fear, it's about foresight. It's saying, even if I'm gone, my house will still stand.
Man.
It's saying my children will not start from zero. It's not just a death benefit, it's a living covenant.
Wisdom Keys took on point there.
So this is a biblical financial strategy. Joseph stored grain in Egypt for 7 years so his people wouldn't perish.
Wow.
That's insurance. That's preparation. We don't need any more GoFundMe pages. We need godly financial fathers who prepare like Joseph, like the ant, and provided like Abraham.
Man. Because
love without provisions isn't protection, and legacy without planning is just a dream that dies when you do. When you insure your life, you declare, I will not leave my family vulnerable. I will not pass down poverty. I will pass down principles and provision. And I'm going to say this. The government of heaven is not closed nor shut down. While the world's economy may rise and fall, God is shifting his men, kingdom men, into a new economy. One governed by divine provision, favor, and overflow. What limits others will launch you forward because you are not covered by the system. You are covered by the covenant. Wow. The blood secures your success.
I was just about to say lead with wisdom, but you done opened up the windows of heaven and poured out some overflow. That's it right there. Normally I add more to it, but hey, enough been said. Man, appreciate you, my brother Corey.
Appreciate you, Mr. Cadero.
For dropping the wisdom. Man, y'all shout out. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is the wealthiest hour. The hour is always wealthy. Be sure to like and subscribe. Stay tuned. We got more to come. Peace and increase.
Thank you.